Welcome back to class, my little pirates. Arr! I hope you're ready for your learning today, or else I'll make you walk the plank. Alright, today we're going to be talking about how to multiply a monomial times other different polynomials. But first, we got to make sure that everyone remembers their exponent rules. So the big thing we got to remember when we're dealing with exponents is you're going to multiply the whole numbers the same as always, just like any other regular old whole number, like 2 times 4 is 8. But then when you have an exponent that you're dealing with, then you got to use the exponent rules only for the exponents. Alright, so first example we've got up here, x times x is just very simply x squared. Okay, the next example we have x squared times 3x. So remember, when we have x squared times 3x, the coefficient in front of this x squared is just a 1. So 1 times 3 is just 3. But x squared times x is going to be x cubed. Alright? If we have 4 times x to the 5th, then it's just 4x to the 5th. And down here we have 4x times 2x squared. So we're going to take the whole numbers, 4 times the 2, so 4 times 2 is 8, and then x times x squared, we're going to add the exponents, remember, so the exponent for this is a 1, so 1 plus 2 is 3, so we get 8x cubed. Alright, so that was some review. I'll put my sword up and we'll get into what we need to do here today. Quick change. Alright, now we're ready to go. Multiplying the monomial times other different polynomials. This is basically just distributive property, but you got to remember your exponent rules. So we'll start with this first example. It's 2 times 4x plus 5. Alright, so distributive property. 2 times the 4x is 8x, and 2 times the 5 is 10. So we get 8x plus 10. Over here, we have negative 2 times 7x minus 1. So we got to be tricked, or we can't get tricked by this negative right here. We got to make sure we know what we're doing. So the negative 2 times 7x is negative 14x, and then we can't get tricked because there's a minus here and then there's a negative here. So a negative times this other negative is going to make positive, and 2 times 1 is 2. Alright, so now we actually have we have a variable on the outside. Okay, same thing, it's just going to be a little bit trickier because we've got to deal with the variables now. So 2x times the 3x, we've got this monomial on the outside. 2x times the 3x, 2 times 3 is 6. And then x times x is x squared. Then we do 2x times the minus 4, or negative 4 right here. And we're going to get 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And then I just write down the x because it is right here. Alright? Now I have 3x times 5x plus 10. So once again, 3x times 5x. 3 times 5 is 15. And x times x is x squared. Okay? Then I do 3x times the 10. So 3x times the 10. My whole numbers are 3 and 10. So 3 times 10 is 30. And I've got to write down the x again. Now I get to the bottom. I've got a monomial here times a trinomial this time. It's the same thing, okay, exactly the same thing. There's just more terms inside the parentheses. I'm still going to distribute that term, that monomial that's outside, I'm going to distribute it to all 3 things that's inside. Okay? So, x squared times 2x squared. So now, remember, the coefficient here is a 1. I can write it or I can not write it. I usually don't write it. So x squared times x squared is going to be x to the fourth, because remember I'm going to add the exponents. So this becomes 2x to the fourth. Then I have x squared times 7x. So this is going to be the 7 times the 1 is 7. And x squared times x is x cubed. Okay, and then x squared times the negative 4 is just negative 4x squared. Okay, if for some reason it's not in standard form when you get done, then you would need to go ahead and put it in standard form. Remember, standard form is where the biggest exponent goes first, and then you go to the next biggest and the next biggest. So the exponents are always decreasing as we move from left to right. Alright, we got some more examples up here. First one is 7x cubed times 3x plus 1. So 7x cubed times 3x. Remember, we're going to do the whole numbers first. So that's going to be 21. And then x cubed times x is going to be x to the fourth, because I'm adding the 3. And remember, that exponent is a 1. Alright, so 7x cubed times 1, simple enough, is just 7x cubed. Alright, now, right here we throw in a symbol, this pi symbol, okay, just to kind of make it tricky. It doesn't actually make it tricky though, okay? All we have to do is just write it down. It's going to end up being really, really simple. Alright, so x squared times the 4 is just 4x squared. We're going to always write the coefficient in front of the variable, okay? So make sure that whole number, or even if it's a fraction, it's got to go in front of the variable. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with the symbol, the pi symbol. Okay, so this is now negative, so x squared times negative pi is going to be negative pi x squared. Alright, nothing real tricky. It just kind of freaks people out. They're like, oh my gosh, what do I do with the pi? Alright, this, I don't know if you can read my writing, it says 4x to the fifth. So that exponent is a 5. Alright, times 3x squared minus x plus 7. Alright, so first things first, 4x to the fifth times 3x squared. 4 times 3 is going to be 12. X to the fifth times x squared. Remember, our rule is we're going to add the exponents. So x to the fifth times x squared, we're going to add the 5 and the 2, and that is x to the 7th. So we have this first term of our answer is going to be 12x to the 7th. Okay, then we have 4x to the 5th times a negative x. Remember, this is still multiplication here. Okay, so 4x to the 5th times negative x means I'm going to have negative 4x, and my rule is 5 plus that 1 makes it x to the 6th. So this is a negative 1 is my coefficient in front. My exponent is a 1. So 4 times the negative 1 gives me negative 4. And then x to the 5th times x, I'm going to add and get x to the 6th. And then last but not least, 4x to the 5th times the constant of 7. So that is 28x to the 5th. Man, I need my big whiteboard back. I'm running out of room on this little guy. Alright, now we get to a little bit simpler one. All we have is a constant out here times this trinomial. So we just kind of multiply pretty straightforward. 2 times the x squared, 2x squared. 2 times the 4x is 8x. And then 2 times the negative 7 is negative 14. Well, I better move my rag here. Y'all might need to see some of that up there. Alright, and then last example here, we've got another 4x times another trinomial here. We got some stuff that we got to deal with. So, here we go. Last one. 4x times 4x squared. We're going to multiply the 4's and get 16. X times x squared is going to get x cubed. Then we're going to go 4x times the negative 2x. So 4 times the negative 2 is negative 8 or minus 8. And x times x is x squared. And then 4x times 3 is 12x. Alright. And that's it. I hope you learned what's going on. I hope all my little pirates are doing good out there. Hope y'all are having a fun time, staying safe. So until next time, we'll see you later. Good luck.